Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of I Can Do. I am Benjamin Lee and I'm really excited that you are here with me. Thank you so much for your support in this journey, in this podcast. Today we're going to continue on with my book, Life Beyond the Scale. And today I'm going to be reading to you Chapter 7, You Work Out and Still Have a Belly. That is the title of Chapter 7. You work out and still have a belly. All right, here we go. Yes, and I was talking about me too, by the way, okay? All right, here we go, Chapter 7. That's what Nikki, my wife, told me one day when I was ironing a shirt. I'd gotten back from the gym. I was feeling good about myself. I felt strong. That would quickly change. I showered and made my protein shake. Now, I had put on some muscle, even though it was hidden under fat. While ironing, Nikki looked at me in my undershirt and said, "You work out and still have a belly." I was taken aback for a few seconds. I chuckled a nervous laugh. Then I went into defense mode. Me was this. Here's what I was thinking. Oh, yeah, but I'm gaining muscle. I think that's what I actually said. Here's what Nikki said. Yeah, but aren't you supposed to be in shape since you go to the gym so much? My response, yeah. So what happened? I believed a big lie that many others believe. Many think that they can eat whatever they want and believe exercise will cover up for their loose lips and binge eating of food. So not true. Eventually, that kind of mindset will sink you. It does every single time. I had bought into the lie. I worked out for the most part on a consistent basis. I would have days where I would miss 1 or 2 days, but really not that much. But my eating was not right. There were some other lies I had believed as well. I thought taking supplements would make up for my poor eating habits. Nope, wrong, lie. My mindset wasn't there or wasn't where it needed to be. And I was still connected to the scale. My success was measured on the scale. At the time, I wasn't having much success with it either. That will often create a slippery slope. I would fall further into the abyss due to a lack of self-control. This became really evident to me in February of 2016. I would eat, wait for it, a 2-pound donut. Yep, that's right. It's not a typo. You see, I've been watching a lot of episodes, or I had been watching a lot of episodes of that show called Man vs. Food. I told myself, self, you should try that. Austin, Texas is only about 5 hours from Beaumont, Texas. I heard about a donut shop called Round Rock Donuts. They had a 2-pound donut. I had to try it. Okay, I didn't have to try it. Someone should have slapped me. I should have slapped myself. Eating this donut was an insane thing to do, but I would do it anyway. My family and our friends, we had gone on a little road trip. And normal people go on a road trip to visit the Statue of Liberty or Mount Rushmore, and others take a road trip to run some kind of marathon or something. Not me. I went on a road trip to eat a big fat donut. I accomplished my mission, although it felt like death. I finished the donut in about 45 minutes. I think it was equivalent of eating a dozen donuts. Now I think I know it was. The first half, though, I will tell you, was actually enjoyable. The second half, I had to walk around and literally force myself to finish. To make matters worse, later on that day, we all went out to lunch. Can you believe that? I had pizza and then followed it up with some ice cream when we got to our rental home. Whoa. Can you say out of control? This began a downward spiral for me with my weight. I knew I was fat, but I didn't know just how fat. I had moments like these in the past. I remember dating a woman while in Rockford, Illinois before I met Nikki. I was on this cycle of eating a ton of calories for 2 weeks and then cutting calories for 2 weeks. The goal was to gain muscle mass while keeping the fat off. The only problem was I wasn't following the eating regimen. Instead of sweet potatoes and oatmeal for carbs, I was eating whole pizzas. I can remember my girlfriend once said to me, "You're getting fat." But I shook it off. I thought I was in control. I was not. Now, years later, I was doing it again. I just didn't want to admit it. I certainly didn't want to get on the scale either. You see, like so many other people, I was afraid of the scale. Silly me. I had plenty of other indicators that were screaming at me and saying, "Dude, what are you doing?" Consider exhibit number 1. Clothes. Clothes don't lie. That's a saying I have with some of my friends. I have a brown suit. It had been in Illinois for a while at my mom's place. In 2016, my clothes kept getting tighter. I was getting fatter. I eventually forced myself to get on the scale. Oh boy, I weighed in at 239 pounds. What? I never weighed that much in my life. Feeling disappointed was an understatement. I was crushed. How could I let myself get so out of shape? I was outgrowing my suits. I decided to have my mom send me my brown suit. This was the brown suit that I had left in Illinois after a family visit. You see, when I left it there, I was calling it my fat suit. I was sure that I could fit into this suit with no problem, and I didn't want to go and buy another suit. But I would be devastated after getting it. I could not get into it. When I tried it on, I couldn't even button it up. No. Yes. I was experiencing, as one of my friends calls it, Dunlap's disease. This is when your belly has Dunlapped over your belt. Yep, I was guilty. You want to know the way you can measure where you might be? Consider exhibit number 1, your clothing. Consider exhibit number 2, comments. Now, you got to be careful with this, but I do think there is something to it. I guess I should have been more aware of my weight problem when a friend of mine yelled across the church parking lot and said, "Looks like you're getting wider." I maybe should have taken that into consideration. A sister at church kept telling me how disappointed she was with me for allowing myself to get where I was. You see, I had played the role of a hypocrite. I had been telling her for a few years about staying in shape. She was at risk for diabetes, and now it was her turn to help me. Consider exhibit number 2, comments. Maybe there's some truth to what people are saying. Then finally, consider exhibit number 3, no confidence. I had lost a lot of confidence in myself. I wasn't happy with my body. I didn't like how I looked or felt. All of these pieces of evidence were beginning to add up. What a stinking failure. I felt like I had hit rock bottom. I tried working with a nutritionist I believe back in 2015, who put me on a rigorous eating plan. It was strict. No starches, no dairy, no corn, no wheat, no sugar, no nothing. Or at least that's what I felt like. I dropped weight, but I couldn't sustain it. I made it about 69 days. I got down to 211 from 225. But the weight would come back, and it came back hard too. Now it had ballooned up to 239. I turned 37 in August of 2016. As I was sitting at the kitchen table with my family, I was not happy. I was fat and out of shape. My mindset had not been right. As I looked at my beautiful wife and my handsome son, I thought to myself, I don't know how I am going to turn this around. See, the only goal I had accomplished up to that point in 2016 was eating a 2-pound donut. Talk about underachieving. That is chapter 7. What about you? Where are you? Do your clothes fit? Is your confidence strong? Are you ignoring comments or assistance from other people? Is it time to make a change? As I think back to that chapter and those events, I know there's a lot that had taken place in my life. There's a lot of stress, and that may have been one of the big reasons behind it. So we have to be careful with how we handle stress. We have to be honest with ourselves with where we are, because things can really get out of control very, very quickly if we're not careful. I hope this helps. There's still more to come in this book. Stay tuned for chapter 8. Chapter 8, we're going to be looking at when I started waking up early in the morning and living 2 days in one. Take care and God bless. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. If you are in the need or looking for more motivation in your life, feel free to check out my website, benjaminlee.blog, where you can find hundreds of encouraging, motivational blog posts on a variety of subjects. You can find all of my books, which can also be found on Amazon.com, and other podcast interviews with a variety of people. I hope this helps. Please leave me a rating and a review. I can do, and so can you. Take care, and God bless.